Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Highbury Matters. I will be discussing with a good friend of mine, Terry, the 1976-7 and 1977-8 seasons. Also, all things Highbury as well. We'll be joining you after the break. Evening, Terry, all right?
Hello, Melvyn.
Terry. You all right?
Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. That
Can you hear me?
Intro there, bring back memories, did it?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, a little bit.
Fine.
It's been a long time.
Right, now I do ask people this. I always ask them this. 2 questions in one. When did you first start supporting Arsenal and why?
Well, I reckon birth. My old man was an Arsenal fan. I was brought up in Holloway as a kid. Mate, the street just round the corner to the Tolly pub, and there was no choice. It was either Arsenal or death, basically. You had to be an Arsenal fan. I went to my first game in '71. My old man took me, and I've been addicted ever since.
What did you do? Were you you and your dad? Were you North Bankers straight away, or what? Where did you go?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I've got very kind of early memories of it, when I first went, but they're not very concrete because I was only about 5, 6 years old. So one thing that I particularly remember was I think probably my first game, Melv. My old man had me on his shoulders in the North Bank. I was in the North Bank, and he was a short arse as it is, right? He was only about 5 foot tall. So even with me on his shoulders, the only view I got was the back of some geezer's head. And ever since then, I've always used anti-dandruff shampoo. That was my first memory.
Best advert in the world, Terry. Best advert, that. So obviously you and the old man must have walked to go to Highbury. You didn't have to get a bus. It was quite simple.
Oh yeah. It's nearer now. It's where I used to live. It's a stone throw. But from where I was, it was a 10-minute walk. So yeah, it was. My whole street was red and white, Melv. So yeah, it was a 10-minute walk.
Now then, obviously, when you were about 5 or 6, probably wasn't there. But a couple of years later, when
Seems
you were
going,
8 or 9, who were your favourite players, Terry?
Well, there was one in particular. My earliest memories of the players was probably around '73. When I got to about 8, and I would say, even at that time, George Armstrong, probably '73, '74. George Armstrong was our best player. Even then, and he was getting on a bit, but he was still a fantastic player. I love George Armstrong. But within a year or two, it was no doubt about it. It was Liam Brady. Absolutely, Liam Brady. That guy, he got me really into football. He was just magical player. He would go past people for fun, left foot like a wand. He was just brilliant, Mel. Obviously, you remember him. He was something else. I saw him at Winchell Hill train station actually 10 years ago, and I was ogling him, and he was with some woman, right? And You know, like when your eyes lock with someone and you kind of, you know, there's a connection. So I thought to myself, like this, you know, I've got to approach it. And I was just like, I was just probably over staring, and I went to approach, and the woman, I think, like she spotted me like coming forward and looking and stuff like that before, and she just stuck her arm out, stopped me getting near her. You know, so that's how addicted I was to Liam Brady. I absolutely love the guy. You know, I could have become.
You were dressed at the time, though, were you, Terry?
Sorry, I think I had my underpants on. Yeah, I was walking around without them. I like to hang loose, Mel.
I obviously I tell people that are a lot younger than me what Liam Brady was like, and they probably think, yeah, he was probably all right, but they don't realise how good he really was. He was very, very good. And he wasn't with us that long in the first. He was with us for some time because he came through the ranks. But in the first team, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He left us with about 25,
probably around 74, something like that.
Yeah.
That was terrible. That was
shocking.
That was the biggest trauma for me. That Arsenal was definitely that. You know, it was awful when he left. The team went downhill. You know, the guy was a.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very, very quickly. I tell a story in one of the Arsenal shareholders meetings they used to have. We got rid of Liam Brady and we bought Peter Nicholas as a replacement. Anyway, also that year we spent money on a new system, tannoy system, and one of the guys stood up and says, "Mr. Chairman, we've spent a lot of money on this tannoy system, and it's far worse than the system we've had for years. We've done the same with our midfield this year." Obviously referring to Liam Brady. We let him go, spent more money on Peter Nicholas, and it's a worse midfield. But anyway, that's that. Right, now then.
Well, that was it doesn't have to be hearing that.
It was like everyone went, "What the hell?" Anyway, that was very good. Right, now then, any favourite matches you can think of round about the time we're thinking about, Terry, which is 1976/8, or other little time, but that mainly. Can you think of any special matches you went, "Oh my God, never forget that"?
Do you know what? Like, it was so. Like, in '76, I probably went to about 3/4 of the games, because by then I started going with my brother. But the memories are not as strong. But the memories started getting stronger a little bit later, and probably '78 was my favourite game ever. It beats any other game, even beats '89, because I actually went to the game. It was at White Hart Lane when we were 0. And Liam Brady scored that 25-yarder, and Sunderland got a hat trick, and we absolutely murdered them. And they just got promoted, and they had our dealers, Hoddle. They thought they were going to turn us over, and we absolutely battered them. So that was probably my best ever game. And plus, because I was a kid still, I was only 13 or something. I was in the party with other Arsenal fans, right behind the goal. And when Brady got that goal, that everybody went absolutely crazy, you know. And some guy picked me up, like a grown man picked me up. That was the best affection I'd had without being asked to go back to his house and play with his rabbit milk. You know, it was fantastic. You know, it was like definitely all innocent. You know, like it was great. You know.
You learned a lot of football, didn't you, Terry?
You
life-changing things at football. Life-changing thing.
Exactly. That's the thing. Mel, you know what? Football is life-changing. It's educational. You know, like people don't actually realise there's behind the game itself, especially if you're a born and bred sort of gooner, behind itself, there's a lot of things happening in life that right to the end. You know, going with your dad, meeting different types of people. That's what football's all about, you know.
It's true what you say. I mean, football to me, it's really like a religion in some respects, isn't it, Terry?
Yeah.
Football's like absolutely. A religion.
No,
I might start coughing in a minute, Terry. I might start coughing.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah, sorry about that, mate.
I might start coughing. I went to football with my father. I went to football with my father and this guy. This is my uncle, Joey, who took me to football since I was about 6 and 7. He was the reason I'm an Arsenal supporter. My dad come along, obviously, because he became an Arsenal supporter because my uncle. But that is the reason I am staunch Arsenal. And he was heavy duty Arsenal. Don't get it. He is an East End lad, and you must not say anything wrong about the Arsenal, even in a joke. Even if we lost the game, you mentioned it. It was like, no, you don't do that. The unspeakables. He was just bang Arsenal. That's it. I remember went to a wedding with him once. He went a nice dinner suit, lovely shirt, bow tie, and someone goes, just for a joke, "Oh, your mob didn't do well the weekend." He said words I've never heard of before. Honestly, he's like, and he was like, all of a sudden, the shirt was dishevelled and the suit. But that is the reason, and that is the reason I'm an Arsenal supporter, and God bless him. Right, now then, Highbury for me.
Yeah, you're right. That's a religion.
It's a special place.
Yeah.
What's that, Terry? Sorry?
It is a religion without doubt.
Yeah, for me, Highbury was so special. It was like a whole day's outing just going there. You know, the atmosphere, the feeling, and for you, it must have been. I mean, any special moments apart from matches? Any special moments you can think of, or something that was different from Highbury from any other ground when you started going to away games to other grounds?
Yeah, well, it's the club place, you know. I think what it is about, I don't think modern day Arsenal fans really understand what it epitomised, what the club's all about in some ways, because, you know, it's got these roots that go back, like, you know, to the 30s and Herbert Chapman and the Marble Wars, and obviously the listed building itself, you know, like a couple of the stands were listed, weren't they? Definitely the East Stand. And it's just like magnificent. It wasn't really a football ground. It was more like a cathedral, wasn't it?
Yes.
You know, and that's the thing that always stood out. I mean, I always got past when I saw it. You know?
You always what, sorry?
I always got like a tingle when I saw the stadium, when I was approaching for the game, or when I was walking past for any other particular reason. Always got that tingle. It's special. It's the best. It was the best.
Yeah, you turn that corner.
You know, you couldn't compare any other ground.
Different class. Different class.
Yeah.
Now, were you one of these?
That's the words. Different class.
Yeah. Basically, different class. Were you when you were very small, when you were 6 and 7, it was a winter's day? Did you have a bobble hat on, or a scarf, or a rosette, or whatever? Were you one of those guys or not?
The only thing that I ever had, Arsenal, do you know what, Melv? I've never bought replica kit. The only two things I ever had as a kid was a red and white scarf, you know, the traditional one, like the vertical white, red, and a 1971 replica FA Cup final shirt.
Oh,
you know,
fantastic.
I was never one for colours. I don't know why. I think it's probably because when I got a bit older, you know, I didn't want the old bill to pick me out.
But Terry, years ago, football fans never used to turn up in their football shirts, did they? They never used to have them.
Absolutely not. Now, that happened. When did that start happening? In probably the late 80s, maybe early 90s, something like that.
So. Round about then.
I might be wrong, but in the 70s and 80s, no. It wasn't a dumb thing in them days, you know. It's just like, look, let's be honest, Mel. You look a bit like a div, don't you, walking around in an Arsenal shirt, don't you? You know, that's just not my game.
That's the problem. Right.
I don't like it, mate. I don't like it.
Nah. I mean, the difference going back, I mean, we've spoken about this perhaps before, but the difference now to when it was years ago with going to Highbury and a lot of other grounds actually, like you definitely you couldn't buy a ticket to go in if you stood, and there was a lot of obviously there was standing, so you had to queue up. You had to work out what time you had to get there to make sure you got in. Nowadays, if you got your ticket, you can turn up 5 to 3, or whatever time the kickoff is. So that's different.
Yeah.
And people were smoking then, weren't they?
Yeah.
In the ground, you could smell the smoke as you got in.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of that. That's just out of order, wasn't it? Yeah, it was great.
Also, there were very few, not that I used to count them, but it was quite obvious. There was very few women's toilets because there weren't a lot of women that went to football years ago, was there?
Do you know what, Mel? If you spot a woman in Bucky, right, you never watch the match, especially if she was a looker, you'll just be staring at her for the 90 minutes. You know,
did you have to ask someone the score after the game?
A couple of times, yeah. You know, I developed a kind of slant in my eye as well. You know, because like, you know, to get good vision and not be spotted looking, obviously, you know. So yeah, you're right though. There was no women about. There was there was kids, you know, but normally it was the father taking them with 10 boys as well. You know, you like many girls there or nothing. You know, it's changed so much.
And the numbers on the shirts, you only had 2 to 11. Whoever played, that was a squad numbers, wasn't it? It wasn't everyone did have their own shirt.
Yeah.
So
did you know, St. Mel, back in the 70s, no one ever got injured. You know, no one ever got injured. You know, so like basically, like see us. Yeah. You hardly ever saw any like. If you were number 14 or 15 in the squad, you never got a game all season.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was, I mean, I think what it was as well is that the first 11 were the top 11, that they didn't have big squads. And also, the people in the team got a lot of their money from playing. They used to get bonuses for scoring, bonuses not letting in goals, bonuses for appearances.
Yeah.
So if you had a bit of a knock, you never told anyone. You just play it on. And if the manager or trainer couldn't, or not so much the trainer, but the manager, because he did everything years ago, didn't he? If the manager never spotted it during the game, because it wasn't recorded, he might have missed you limping while you're over there and the ball's over there. They would never have spotted it. So you could get away with it.
It's true, yeah. It's true.
The only thing was if you had to have a leg taken off, they probably noticed that though. So you were a bit struggling a bit then. Right, now I'm going to go through a few games of those seasons. I don't expect you to remember any of them.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to test you, don't worry. I had to look it up myself, some of them. Some of them I do remember. Right, now we're going to go through the 1976-7 season, Terry. We were 8th in the league and we got to the 5th round of the cup where we got knocked out. First game of the season, you'll probably remember this one. We played at home to Bristol City and it was Melvyn McDonald's first game.
I was there,
Right, the sun was shining, first game of the season, all the players looked lovely, they had nice haircut, nice and relaxed. We got bloody beat, didn't we? 1-0 for Bristol, and they just got promoted as well. They got, I mean, I didn't know any of their players.
That's right, yeah. Paul Cheesley got the goal.
That's it, Paul Cheesley. Nice haircut, by the way. He did have a nice
haircut. That game I remember.
That was so, you know, you think the whole world game. You know, you got all the expectations.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll tell you what, Mel.
You waited.
I'll tell you what, Mel. It was a trauma because we bought Michael McDonald. Being that I was 11 years old, right, and my feeling was obviously I was a kid. I was a bit naive. I thought, right, this could be the one. This could be the making of the team. We could go on. We could challenge them with the league. You know, so I turned up on the day and, you know.
It's a record signing.
Who? McDonald?
He was a record signing. And we had 41,000 for that game. No, Melvyn McDonald was our record signing, wasn't he?
It was
£333,000.
It was, yeah.
And 33p.
And 33p. Don't forget the pence.
No, I can't
It was
forget that.
33p as well. I did on at the end.
That was 3-3-3-3 or something. Right, and another game that Highbury that season, which you must remember this one, is we played Newcastle, the team we bought him from, and we beat them 5-3. It was a bitterly cold day. It was like dancing on ice, wasn't it? The pitch was all frosted over. And I don't know why the central heat undersaw heating wasn't working, but it didn't seem to work that well. Anyway, we beat them 5-3. They scored first, and Malcolm McDonald scored a hat-trick against his old team. And his chest even puffed out even bigger than it normally did.
Yeah,
you can see him in that coat, can't you? The old chest puffing out.
Oh, Mel, was it 3 headers?
What's that?
He scored a lot of goals. He scored a lot of goals, but I think in that he might have scored 3 headers, 3 with his head.
He scored definitely 2 with his head.
I might be wrong.
I think Alan Ball got a chip one in for him from a free kick. I think he had one from the right wing. Someone crossed it from. It might have been Geordie Armstrong from the right wing. And what was his other one? I think the other one might have been a shot from Yes, I think Stapleton took a shot. I think he was going in the far post. Not sure, and he just ran in and made sure it went in. But that was a fantastic game. Now, going from one thing to another, we played Ipswich Town and we bought Willie Young from Spurs. Now, Willie Young, a month or 2 before that, played against us for Tottenham, and Terry Neal was the manager, and we got beat 4-1 at home. We drew 2 away at Spurs, and Willie Young got sent off against us. He came to Arsenal, and all the Arsenal supporters were a Tottenham player. What's the world coming to? You can imagine. And in the first game against Ipswich at home, we got beat 4-1. And I believe also, in the back of my mind, I didn't read about this, he gave away a penalty. The fans slaughtered him. A, we lost 4-1. We didn't like that. B, Willie Young from Spurs. 3, give away a penalty. And I think he might have been at fault for 1 or 2 of the other goals. But I tell you something, if ever a player changed the view, a bit like Jacker, a bit like that, he become Willie Young a hero. Yeah. Because he gave everything to the Arsenal, didn't he?
Oh, he was great.
He was fantastic. Him and O'Leary at the back.
What a
great partnership. 2 completely different centre halves where they played the game. But together they were fantastic.
Yeah. O'Leary was just pure class. He was just different class. But think about Willie Young. He was a little bit like, the play that reminded me of Willie Young, a little bit bold. A bit of light, caught turn very well, but just knew the game so well. His positional play, aerial play was fantastic.
Oh, phenomenal.
And he gave everything. And the best thing about him, Mel, was when he chopped down Paul Allen in that FA Cup
final. Now then, I'll tell you something, what it used to cost.
If VAR was still around, if VAR was around now, it was around that time, right? At that time, Paul Allen would have been set off for simulation.
He would have done, yeah.
That was the dive.
Crashing into his leg. I know, he shouldn't have done it, crashed into his leg. Now then, also, remember that time, to get into Highbury, upper, row Z, so you need a pair of binoculars, row Z upper, they slaughtered you. They would have cost you, Terry, £1.50 of all your money to have a reserve seat. If you sat in the lower tier, it's £1.20. That's what it used to cost. Amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, it was cheap.
In football, transfers, wages, and ticket prices just gone through the roof. Right, now this is what I found out about. I didn't know it. What in this season? Dave Wagstaff got a record. He played for Blackburn Rovers, Dave Wagstaff. I think he might have played for Wolves as well. I'm not sure. What was the record? Do you know what it was?
I remember it. Yeah, I can recall it.
Yeah, he played away at the Warrior. You know what the record was he got that day?
Now, go on.
He was the first player to be shown the red card. This red card coming in. First player. The second player was that day. Playing for Fulham was Georgie Best. Georgie Best. I reckon Georgie must have wanted a weekend off, don't you?
I reckon he done it differently, mate. You know, George Best, he was unbelievable. He was just what a player he was.
Yes.
I remember seeing him right at the end of his career. Different class.
He was fantastic. He was.
Yeah.
I see him at Highbury a few times, and he was the first player. I mean, I'm as biased as the next man, but I'm there at the ground, and all of a sudden, I was a kid. I'm watching this guy play football, and he done something. I started clapping. I thought, I'm actually clapping the oppo. What am I doing? But it was Georgie Best. You couldn't help it.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Nah, it made sense. Yeah. He was incredible. He floated across the pitch.
Yeah.
And when you consider the pitches were like mud baths,
and they used to slide in at him, didn't they, Terry? They used to slide in at him, and they just moved out of the way.
Yeah.
When he did a body, when he swerved the whole.
I remember. Yeah. He could have been a ballerina, that guy, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Could have been a ballerina. He was just like,
He was
brilliant.
Phenomenal. What a great footballer. Right. Also, we played an FA Cup.
As good as Liam Brady.
Well, I don't know. They're both great players. They're great players. Now then, there was a fourth round cup tie at Highbury that same season, 77-8 season. We played Wolves, and it was 1-1 with a minute to go, and it looked like Wolves are going to take us back to Molineux. And normally the home team won in the cup, especially after a replay. It was like, you've had your chance at home, boys.
Yeah.
You know, that was what it was like all those years ago.
Yeah.
Not like nowadays. Anyway, it was a corner to us, and Bob Hazel, the centre half of Wolves, picked up the ball, and Graham Ricks tried to wrestle it from him because he knew it was a minute to go. Yeah, that's right. He tried to wrestle it from him, and a bit of fracas happened, and I think Bob Hazel hit him, and he got sent off. Now, Bob Hazel was a good centre half.
That's it. I remember that now. Yeah.
Right. I remember it like it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, it wasn't. We took the corner with Bob Hazel not then. He was a terrific player. And we scored in the last minute from a header. So it all could have been different. Now, the crowds we were getting, like Ipswich that I told you about, we got 34,000. Newcastle, we only got 34,000. And the standings of the crowd, Highbury could have taken a lot more than it could do the last few seasons. Like 38 was the top, so we could have taken a lot more. And the first game the season was 41, like I said.
16.
What's that?
It could have taken 60. It could have taken 60,000, couldn't it, Highbury?
60, over 60 it could take, over 60. But listen to this. Their league games, and I told you the attendances. When we played Wolves, we got 49,000 people, right? The cup then was sometimes people looked at it better than the league, right? There was more excitement in the cup when the FA Cup, something special about it. Right. And the league game we played Wolves was only 34,000. Shows you how the difference between the cup and the league was, how people thought years ago. Now then, we played another great game. I went to the away game actually. We went away to Man City in the League Cup in the quarterfinals, Main Road as it was then.
How the game you're talking about?
I'll tell you what. I went up
sorry to interrupt you, but it's Pat Jennings' game. He saved about 10.
Oh, shut up. I was going to talk about that. You spoiled it. Get off. Get off. You've ruined my thunder. Stolen my thunder.
Sorry.
Pat Jennings, I reckon he erected a glass sheet in front of the goal. He was everywhere, Pat Jennings. He was unbelievable, Pat Jennings, that night. It was a rainy night. It was wet, horrible, and he did everything. We got them back for the replay, and we beat them 1-0. Liam Brady, he scored a penalty. I think McDonald got brought down, if I remember rightly. But you know how many people watched that game? League Cup, remember, not FA Cup, League Cup. 57,000.
What? Highbury or Main Road? Highbury, there's the replay, yeah?
Yeah.
The replay, I reckon it was about 52,000, something like that.
No, sorry, a bit out of sync. 57,000, Terry. 57. Big crowd. Very big crowd.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, Mel, we were starved of success.
Yeah, we
So
were.
if we got to a quarter or a semi or something, anything like that, if we went to a final, we would get a big game. You know, because we just like, we were nowhere, really.
No,
more important anyway than the domestic cups, but was we weren't successful. We were nowhere near winning the league in them days. So the only hope and glory was the cup.
Yeah, we made up the numbers in the league, Terry, didn't we? Let's face it, we made up the numbers. This Sean is saying, and he's right. He still recognised the mobbed in the street in Italy due to his genuine plan over there. It is. That's a fact. Absolute fact.
He's brilliant. He was brilliant over there. Yeah, he was brilliant over there. I think he won the Juventus Player of the Year 2 years. For 2 years, he got replaced by Platini.
That's right.
Needed a player of that caliber to come and replace him. You know?
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. No, he was. I mean, wherever he played, Liam, he was loved. I mean, he's one of those players. There's not many English players around that time that went to foreign lands and made it. He actually made it. A lot of them were failures, weren't they? Let's face it. But,
Melvyn was Irish. Remember that? He was Irish. Remember, he was Irish.
Right. Let's start. If this is I shall go through a few old programs. Got my glasses on so I can actually. Oh, there you are, Terry. I couldn't see you before. Right. This is in Peter Simpson's testimonial game. Bob Wilson talking about Peter Simpson. He was a very good player. Very, very good player. That was in the testimonial. We played Spurs that game. So Bob Wilson did that. And where is the program? Let's have a look. No, we haven't got that one. This is in the program, and I've got it here as well. This is what I don't know if you remember what the programs used to look. We actually used to read the programs years ago, Terry, not like now. Here it's got the Football League positions. It's got the it's actually top left. It says today's referee. You couldn't bribe the referees then with money. You just put them in a program. That probably gave you a couple of good decisions. Saying how nice they are.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I can't see it.
Clive White was the ref. You got coming events at Highbury on the top right. You got bookings for games. You can actually make bookings for games if you wanted to sit at Arsenal. You got the Football League table in the middle left, and bottom left you got Arsenal catering services and advertising the Arsenal Chelsea
different world, isn't it?
Lots of information on one page. You used to get that, as I say, in the programs because there was no internet, so you had to take it from there. Here we've got what we've got here. Now, this is an article. Yeah, go on.
I've got to say, like, you know, a lot of the time, like, you kind of think that's a simpler world in them days, you know, but what people don't take into account a lot is that it was a very working class crowd. So, like, when you had that kind of anything like in them days, which was sort of hospitality and all that, it was something I wouldn't even consider, you know, because it was like, it was kind of a little bit out of our range, you know. And I think the game has changed so much in the other way now, where, you know, who is working class anymore anyway, that's another subject, but it's changed so much in that respect too. The kind of people that go to the game, you know, they're different. They're different to the ones that I remember as a kid going up and watching the Arsenal, you know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, just saying that's the reality of it.
It's true what you say, Terry. Hospitality in those days was sitting down or standing and not having the rain come on your head. That's hospitality on a wet day. You know, if you're lucky enough not to have the rain come through a hole in the roof, they pay extra for that. That was hospitality. So this was Billy Bott. And what Arsenal used to do, they used to have either the manager or the captain of the team talking about Arsenal, obviously, and West
visitors' viewpoint. I remember that. Yeah,
exactly. That was very good. Now this is this is the West Ham team.
Yeah,
See if I can get that. Have we got that here somewhere? I've got the West Ham one in front of me. Right, somewhere. You know, there's famous people there. Mervyn Day. You know who's number 8 for them? Johnny Radford. Went to West Ham for a season. Johnny Radford.
I remember most of those. See, Brooklyn and Devonshire were unbelievable. Brooklyn and Devonshire were top class. Yeah.
Lampard. Look,
and
Frank Lampard.
who else was a good player? That time.
Yeah, he scored a lot of goals for them.
Who?
Taylor scored a lot of goals for them, didn't he?
Frank Lampard.
Yeah, Frank Lampard.
Taylor got like, I think in the FA Cup he kept in the place.
He basically won it for him, didn't
he? Yeah. Yeah, he did. He scored. He was scoring. I remember when they went on their FA Cup run. He was like getting 2 goals a game. You know, he was like prolific goal scorer in the cup.
And the number 4 of West Ham, do you know that he never got booked?
I remember most of it. Or Tulowotsky.
Because the rest couldn't spell his name. Yeah, he never got booked. The rest couldn't spell his name.
Yeah. One of the first foreigners in the league.
I'm not sure if he was. I know the name is a foreign name, but I'm not sure if he was. I don't know if it was. I don't know. I think he might have been. I don't know if he was. I don't know where he was born. I don't know. That was what the program used to look like.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Right, that's fantastic. Wow. That brings back memories, Phil. Love that.
Yeah, doesn't it, eh?
Yeah, that's brilliant.
And the next season, the cover changed. I think
you know what
they did. What?
You know what, Mel? I was addicted to smelling the inside of them.
Really?
You know, the programs. You know when you know when you open them up, there's into them, didn't they? And
they had
I spent about 20 minutes to get over my face.
Yeah. Is that why your nose was always black? I thought I couldn't. I wondered why you kept having
a
black nose.
That set me off on my heroin addiction a bit later.
Anyway, right now the following season, this is what some of the covers look like. Similar, because they changed from and also during the season they showed it. They used that cover for a bit, Terry, and then they used to change it a bit. You got the goalie going, there's that Rimmer going up for it then.
Yeah.
And this one, that's just a midfield melee.
I remember that style as well. Now, Melvyn, have you still got Arsenal programmes? Did you keep them all?
I've kept. Oh, don't. I hope my missus can't hear. I've got loads of them. I've got them from the 1960s. Not in great condition though, but not all of them. But a hell of a lot.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's brilliant.
I mean, it brings. I mean, when I was doing a bit of research,
used to collect.
Going through these old programs is fantastic for me. Brings back all the memories, you know.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I've hidden a lot of them under the bed, so hopefully the missus won't find them. This is now. This is it. The funny thing is, oh yeah, she's a chance. Yeah, this is again the other side chatting about Arsenal and Ipswich, and it was Brian Talbot. This was just before 2 or 3 years before we bought him.
Yeah,
and he was talking about us and playing. He was only a youngster then. He was only I think it was 23, 4. I think when he wrote that, he hadn't been in the team that long, a couple of years, but obviously he was a good player. He wasn't the captain because Mick Mills played for him at the time. He was a great captain for Ipswich, but for some reason they had him.
Yeah, of course.
Doing the thing.
The left back.
Yeah, Mick Mills left back was right-footed though, wasn't he? Mick Mills.
Yeah, that's right. He was an unusual player.
Yeah.
Played for England as well. Good player for England.
Yes. Yeah. This is.
Let's have a look at that team.
They were good. They had Brian Robson as the manager, I think. Let's have a look. I've got the actual program here, Terry. I can't actually read it.
What year is it, Mel?
That's 77-8. It would be Brian. It'd be Bobby Robson, the manager, wouldn't it? You got 2 players who played for Arsenal.
That was the year they done us in the cup final, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they done us. Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah,
We were shocking that day, Terry. We were
yeah.
shocking.
Mariner as well. Yeah, Mariner too.
He was a good player. We bought Mariner from him,
Yeah.
and we bought
I
Talbot
saw
from
better Arsenal. It was a bit. Yeah, of course. Mariner, like he was. You know what? He just didn't do it for Arsenal, but like we switched it to centre back, and he was all right.
That's what I did.
That
We
was
bought.
a,
He did. He
that
played a
was an
centre back
really
for us for
amazing
some
move.
reason.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
So what else we got there?
You know, I like Brian Talbot's horizontal passing. You know, everything's square. He never played a vertical pass. You know, like if you'd been playing today, would have been crucified for that. But in them days, that was the way to go. Like, you know, you just bought, you know, that way you just kept the ball without going anywhere.
He did do a lot of running though, didn't he? He was brilliant, box to box, wasn't he? He used to give.
Amazing. Yeah.
He was fantastic.
And he had a good shot.
Yeah, he used to score a lot of free kicks for us, didn't he? Scored a lot of free kicks.
Yeah, free kicks, 20-yarders. Yeah, he could half hit the ball. Yeah.
Going back to this, I love this photograph. Highbury.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic. That must have been the 60s, I reckon, or 50s. Someone can probably put an age on that because we didn't have
it was before my time. It was definitely the 60s.
Just iconic stadium, wasn't it?
The roof on the roof on the clock. The clock had never had a roof until about 1990, I think, but that was from the 60s, I would say.
Yeah, it could be.
It looks fantastic, though. It looks brilliant, doesn't it?
Yeah, fantastic. Those east and west sides, brilliant. Brilliant. Right, now then, I'm going to go back in time again. Not things necessarily Arsenal here, Terry. I'm just going to be a bit nostalgic here on a few things. Right? Now, this is what happened in 1977. Right? I'm going to show us both our ages up here. In 1977, some news events. Star Wars opened in the cinemas. Right? Famous Star Wars. The mini-series Roots was aired. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was a bit heavy. The first commercial
I love
flight.
that. I absolutely love that. Yeah.
The first commercial flight of Concorde was that year. And that year, I remember the night this happened. I remember where I was the night this happened. Elvis Presley died at the age of 42. I remember where I was. I absolutely
yeah. Yeah, I remember that as well. I remember that. Yeah. Wow, that is showing our age, Melvyn, isn't it?
Yeah. Got a couple more for you. The UK Jubilee celebrations took place that year.
77. Yeah. Queen's Jubilee. I remember that. Of course.
25.
That was a big event.
It was, yeah. It was. And now, I mean, I don't know if you're into financial things. The Dow Industrial Average at the moment is about 33,000, right?
Yeah.
That year, it was 831. It's gone up a little bit. Absolutely gone in. Pele played his last. I'm sure I bought something then, Terry. Perhaps I've forgotten. Anyway, Brazil star Pele.
I can't afford it now. I can't afford it now.
Pele played his last game.
Pele's last game, yeah.
I'll tell you what, some more popular films apart from Star Wars, round about there. Saturday Night Fever. Did you get your trousers out for that one? The old flares. Saturday Night Fever.
That's the one, mate. That's the one. Saturday Night Fever was the one. You know, that's me all over, mate.
Also, The Deep with that Bissett, Jacqueline Bissett, I think was in that. The Deep. Do you remember that one?
Yeah,
that was terrific.
She was a look. Oh, she was a looker. She was in Charlie's Angels, wasn't she, at one time?
She was not sure. No, Charlie's Angels. I don't think she was. I'm not sure. You might be right.
I think she was the first woman I saw, Melvyn. I knew I wasn't gay.
Did you see her at football?
At football?
Normally, your life-changing things happen at football, but not at football, not at Highbury. You saw her out in the street or something.
I probably would have got arrested if she was about. She was like, she was unbelievable.
She was very nice looking. So they tell me. So they tell me.
Yeah.
I'll give you a clue. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another couple of films here. Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
And Annie Hall.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. A couple of musicians here and songs.
Annie Hall.
Annie Hall, yeah. He was, I mean.
Woody Allen.
Woody Allen. Yeah.
Yeah, legend. Absolute legend.
Now, these were the musicians. They weren't necessarily come out that year, but they were top of the tree that year. Rod Stewart.
Yeah,
he was probably, Maggie May was 71, but he was going very strong then. Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
And the Eagles came out that year with Hotel California.
Brilliant record. Brilliant song.
The Bee Gees with...
You know what, Mel? You're making me nostalgic, mate. I want to turn the clock back. I want to turn it back now.
I wish I could turn it back on certain things, Terry, I tell you. I tell you who was big then. Yeah. Barbra Streisand.
Same here, mate.
Barbra Streisand. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Fleetwood Mac. They were amazing then.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, this group were very good. They were better in the winter for some reason. Hot Chocolate.
In the winter? Hot chocolate. Yeah. Yeah, the bald guy. The bald guy, I remember him.
Yeah, he passed away a few years ago, didn't he? Yeah. Errol Brown, his name was Errol Brown.
That's it.
What a voice.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What a voice.
I passed away, never knew that. God bless him.
Yeah, he passed away.
God bless him.
Young guy he was. And programs, these are the programs you haven't come to yet. Little House on the Prairie. Do you know that one?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course, I used to watch it. I fancied the bird in there, the one that went blind.
That doesn't surprise me, Terry. Oh, this is the one. You must know this one. You must have watched it. I did, definitely. Happy Days. With the Fonz.
Oh, yeah. I used to model myself on him, but I was a bit more like Ralph, you know.
Was that the guy that owned the cafe? Was he the guy that owned the cafe?
The one, you know, like he had one, like there was a ginger one and like a dark-haired one.
Oh, the sidekick.
Yeah, the sidekick. I was more like Ralph. He never got no action either.
Right, what else we got here? I didn't see this one. I know it was about, I remember it, but I didn't used to watch it. Barney Miller. I never watched that. Right,
I know that. I never used to watch that one either, Milf.
No, not for me. Sorry, not for me. Not for me. Now then, the three people that were born that year, there's loads, but I'll just give you three. Orlando Bloom was born this year.
Go on.
My double.
Yeah.
Shakira was born this year. And
yeah.
Sarah Michelle Gellar. She was born this year as well. So that year, I mean, it does take you back, doesn't it? It really does take you back to, you know, a few brain cells come alive again when you see all this stuff, doesn't it? It just makes you feel like, oh, I remember what I was doing.
Melvyn, you stimulated me. You stimulated me, mate. I appreciate it. I've been stimulated for years.
Oh. Must buy. But you got to tell me what shampoo you bought, Terry, when you had that Sherlock Keys with dandruff.
Anti-dandruff.
Oh, not Vosine or nothing, anti-dandruff. All right, I'll try and get some of that when I'm out next.
Yeah. It's the business, mate.
I mean, just going back, Highbury was like, and I've said it before, it's like, for me, and it might have been for lots of other people, like our place of worship. It's where we go, not to pray, to have our prayers answered, because that changed your whole week when you come out of Highbury, didn't it? Or more so than when your team played away. It made your mood so different from, you got up the next morning, it was the first thing on your mind. You still have the memories of coming down the steps and, oh, how did we lose that? Or that was fantastic, we slaughtered them. All these emotions going around your body the whole time and in your brain and getting everything going. It was fantastic days, fantastic. I'm not saying...
Mel, I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's exactly how it was. You know, it was something that stayed with you like for days, probably the whole week until the next Saturday.
Exactly.
You know, it was just it was an experience. You know, such an experience. Like, I don't think I've still got a part still like that now. You know, but it's not the same. You know, the Highbury experience. Maybe it's because I was younger. I don't know, more energy. I don't know what it is, but I felt more attached to the club in them days.
Yes, yes, definitely, absolutely. It was. You felt closer to the. Well, you would do. It's a bit corporate, as we know. It's corporate now, and for the club to compete, any club to compete, they need to have a corporate side to them. It's a shame that's happened, but it's the way of the world. We wouldn't have been able to, or won't be able to compete if we don't become corporate. So it's the way it is. But
it's very money
the thing is,
centric.
we can't take away. You know, we've got the memories.
Game, yeah,
we've got the memories, and they can't take that away from us.
I can see you like kind of. I can see in your boat. You really got the nostalgia thing going on here, haven't you?
Oh, behind me, that. Yeah, that's someone gave me that as a present. It was like, I'll tell you what, the oldest program there is the white one in the middle is 1949 against home to Newcastle. That is.
Wow.
And these are all.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. Look at that one. Can you see that one, Tel? Can you see that one? What it looks like? That one, the old. Do you remember that one? That style? Can you see it? You made it be a bit.
I can't see him. No, I can't see him. Nah, yes. I'm in the telescope, mate. I can't see him.
But it's all different years programs. It's about half a dozen programs and photographs of the players. It's just basically Highbury, isn't it? I mean, that is Highbury. You know, it's lovely. I'm still think back to the old-fashioned red shirts and white sleeves. You know, the proper with the red cuffs. That was the Arsenal football shirt. Well, they change it every year, it's not the same for me. Not the same. I love the old traditional one. And my favourite away, and I think a lot of people's favourite away that you mentioned. But as you said, the 1971 Cup jersey away, yellow and blue. I love that. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
That continued up until the late 70s as well, the cup finals, you know. We had them 78 and 79 cup finals with all the yellow too, didn't we?
That's it, we did, yeah.
The only time we wore red and white was when we got beat by Leeds.
I went to that one as
Leeds
well.
Leeds beat us 1-0 when we wore red and white.
Twice they've done us like that. They beat us in the League Cup a few years before that, and I went to that as well. They beat us 1-0 in the League Cup. That was horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. Yeah.
You're lucky.
I know, 69, lucky, I think they beat us, wasn't it? Or,
69, and then we lost to
Swindon. They were lucky.
But later on, there were 2 or 3 seasons later, Leeds had a very, very good team. Leeds they should have won the title more times than they did, Leeds, to be honest with you. They're a phenomenal team. They just couldn't get over the line a couple of times.
They won it twice, I think, didn't they? They won it twice, but they were the dominant team for about 6 or 7 years.
But they only won it once or twice. I
think they won it in the 60s twice.
Did they win it in the 70s?
I think they won
might be right.
74, I think they won it. Yeah.
No, did they?
I think it was 74.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
Just one other thing before you go. I remember at the end of a game, the games used to finish always at 4:40. Not like now, about 5 o'clock, because it used to be just 5 minutes for 5 or 7 minutes for half time, didn't it? So it's 4:40. There was hardly any ever injury time.
Yeah.
So you basically got down about 441.
Yeah.
You're down, but in the street level. And there was a geezer selling newspapers with lots of the not results, but near the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes of a game, latest scores. I don't know how they printed it so quickly to get the stop print to get the scores of other. Yeah, I mean, how do they do that? Mystic Meg. They must have had Mystic Meg there or something.
Well, I've never seen that. I recall that.
Yeah, they did the evening standard. Paper late, standard, paper late, and used to, as you walked out, get a paper.
Yeah. I remember that. That was like maybe an hour after.
Not an hour, it was less than an hour. It was as you come down there, Adam. I used to, when Arsenal, I said, when Arsenal played away from home and we won, my uncle used to, because he used to live with us, used to send me up the road to buy the Evening Standard and Evening News, because they had the whole match report. Because you never used to get match reports really years ago in the 60s. You knew we won or we lost on the television, on the grandstand or something, but you didn't really know what went on. So if we won away from home, I used to buy 2 papers. You flicked up a coin. If we drew, I got 1. If we got beat, we didn't bother. That was what he was like. So that's what we used to do. That's what it was. That's what it was, Terry. It's what it was.
It sounds like good thinking to me.
It was a system, Terry. It was a system, and it worked. System, and it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Who wants to read about getting beat?
Exactly. Listen, great having you on. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Mel.
I'll be speaking to you shortly. We'll arrange something anyway.
No, Melvin's my pleasure, mate, honestly.
That's brilliant. You know,
I really appreciate you asking me on.
I love reading what you write. I love it. And just a couple of things before we go. A bit of housekeeping. Terry. Bit of housekeeping.
Yeah.
There's a couple of books here. This one here, Gooners and Gunners is the first one. Eddie Symes, I've had him on. He's brilliant. This book is good. People, if they haven't done it, please try and get this.
Okay.
This one here, Highbury Memories, again.
Okay.
That one, it's superb. It's something that we've been speaking about, Terry, really tonight, and it is fantastic. And this one now, I think it's on sale, I think, for about 10 quid. So that's really good, really worth getting involved with that one. If anyone out there fancies reading and learning a bit about Arsenal that they don't already know.
Okay.
And we've done that one. Hold on, there's this one. I know I missed that one. But the End by Tom Watt. He was on the other week. He was on here the other week.
Yeah, I read that one.
That's good and all, isn't it? Very good. These books have got to be.
That was good reading.
If you want to learn, people out there who don't know anything about the Arsenal, want to learn a little bit more, just go through it. It just brings it all back to me and people like you, Terry, but people that haven't, it gives them an insight, like this program, of what things were like. So please, those 3 are definitely worth having a look at. Definitely worth having a look at. All right, lovely. As I say, the Highbury Memories one is that's £10, I think. Yeah, £10. I think he's on in a few weeks' time anyway. We'll have a chat with him. That would be quite interesting as well. So we look forward to that. Terry, thanks again. I'll speak to you soon. You won't be able to get away from me. You know that. I'll drive you mad. You know that. As always. Thanks very much.
No, I appreciate it.
No problem, mate. I had to.
Thanks, mate.
We'll catch up shortly. Thanks, Terry. All the best. Bye.
Okay. Thank you.
See you, gentlemen.